Is Eren working with the villain, potentially becoming the villain himself? So what's up guys, Foxen here. Hot topic here today, let's talk about the Jaeger brothers. I trust you're up to date with everything going on in the Attack on Titan manga. There's been a lot of speculation about whether Eren and Zeke have been teaming up, working together in the background. No surprise, of course, this theory has people with mixed feelings on it. So, is the Beast Titan and the Attack Titan getting ready for some hot action? I think so let's break it down. As we've seen in the past, there's been several foreshadowing of events currently happening now. This is no exception. The first hint of the Jaeger brothers teaming up goes back to the Beast Titan arc. This was when the Beast Titan, the Colossal Titan, and the Armor Titan were fighting against the Survey Corps. It was back then where you saw Zeke first seeing Eren and mentioning how he wanted to save his brother. At that time, he mentioned about how Eren had been a victim of his father. So right here, even though this happened like 20 chapters ago, we're now seeing Isayama's foreshadowing come into action. Reason number 2 the Jaeger brothers are working together, the letter. At the end of the chapter when Eren sent that letter, everyone was wondering where this was going. A few chapters later, Eren mentioned that he was sending this to his family. To be totally fair, this could mean a lot of things. Eren could have been referring as family to Mikasa, or the scouts back on Paradise Island. But even with this possibility, I do think that Eren meant literal family. The third hint for the two Jaeger brothers working together, the baseball glove. You saw this back in the hospital. Eren just happened to have this baseball and baseball glove. Why? It just seems out of place. Of course, Isayama put that in there for a reason. You know that Zeke is known for his great aim, and especially throwing as a Beast Titan. Around the same chapter, you also saw Zeke practicing his throw too. Coincidence? I think not. Hint number 4. In the most recent chapters, you got Zeke being led away from Peak and Porco. Of course, the one leading him away was one of the scouts. I think this by itself should almost confirm it. The funny part about this is that the last you saw of Zeke, he was super far away from the festival. Perhaps Zeke was going after that Asian clown lady. Think about it. And then the final hint would be Eren scratching his face. I know, this might sound dumb, but hear me out. When Eren was talking to Reiner, you could see Eren scratching his face in a particular way. Who's the only guy you've seen in the series do this so far? Think back to it? That's right, Zeke. And do notice how this was also 20 chapters ago. I don't think it's too crazy to think that Eren could have picked up this habit from spending some time with his brother. Alright, so for anyone that did have any doubts, I think this should settle it. Now let's move on to the meat of the matter. Why would Zeke and Eren be teaming up? I think you'd agree that Zeke undoubtedly has his own secret agenda. Whatever he's planning is unknown, but one thing's for sure is that it involves the founding Titan. At the same time, he previously did mention wanting to save Eren. Go ahead and look at it this way. If Zeke does team up with Eren right now, he could achieve both of his goals. Of course, there is this risk of Eren backstabbing him, but the risk of Zeke backstabbing Eren is also there. If anything, the risk for Eren should be much greater. Both of these guys better not fall asleep around each other. On the other hand, why would Eren be working with Zeke? I think for this one it's much clearer. Teaming up with Zeke would help him so much. As you know, Zeke is his high-ranking military leader in Marley, a very trusted one at that. Let's not forget that Zeke has been around Marley for his entire life. He knows this place inside and out. On top of this, I could only imagine that Zeke also has some type of contact with important military or political leaders. These could be allies or enemies of Marley. Either or, they could really help Eren. If you just look at these 3 key advantages, this would be extremely helpful. But, do you recall something else about Zeke? Even bigger is that Zeke is a Titan shifter complete with royal blood. Remember, Eren has 2 Titan powers. Recall back to Eren's theory. At that time, he didn't say it out loud, but Eren did believe that just by touching a Titan born from royal blood, he could temporarily get access to the founding Titan powers. Now look back at Zeke. His half-brother makes it very possible. After just some brotherly love, Eren could command an army of 1,000,000+ colossal titans. Anyway, let me stop here and mention a side note. I did mention about Eren having to touch a Titan born of royal blood. I know there's a good portion of people out there confused about this. Let me explain why. When the original chapter came out, you might have recalled Eren saying something about having to eat someone of royal blood. If you recall reading this is actually wrong. There was this typo in the chapter when it came out. I'm talking about the official release. The author Isayama did write eat, but he quickly corrected himself to mean touch. Since then, all of the official translations have been corrected, but I still see a bunch of people online confused about this. There's so many people just saying eat Historia, eat Reiner. I don't know about that last one. But anyway, let me also mention this. The whole thing about touching a Royal Blood Titan was Eren's theory back in the day, 4 years back. I do really believe there's a lot more to this. Eren might need some other condition to make this happen. And I also think that this isn't the only way for Eren to use these powers. Just keep that in mind. But back to Eren and Zeke Jaeger teaming up. As you just heard my breakdown, these guys do have a very good reason to team up. But should they? I have seen a good amount of people voice against Eren and Zeke teaming up. The major reason has been this. Zeke as a Beast Titan has been responsible for countless deaths of the Survey Corps. This includes the Commander Erwin. Hell, even Armin got barbecued. This is also not even talking about the 250,000 of people lost by Wall Maria coming down. In comparison, looking back to Zeke's warriors, they only lost Bert, and maybe Annie, but that's debatable. By losing Bert, this does include losing the Colossal Titan, but perhaps that's hardly comparable. This whole tallying of deaths from both sides has people against the Jaeger brothers teaming up. And let's not forget, the Eren from 4 years ago would definitely be against it. However, I do see this more mature Eren being open to the idea, especially when you have the whole world against you. You might also be thinking, don't forget Levi. Levi did promise Erwin that he would take the Beast Titan down. Likewise, Levi has always been the guy to keep his cool. I still do think Levi is going to keep his blade close at hand, but since it is Levi, I think he is going to put Paradise Island ahead of himself. So, why would Levi and Zeke join forces? Ultimately, it comes down to Paradise Island not being in a convenient position to be too picky about allies. Assume for a moment that Eren and the scouts hadn't come over, or at the very least that things hadn't gone as planned. Willy in his little speech in the recent chapter basically turned the whole world against them. And I know, technically this still is the case with Eren launching the attack. The difference here is that Paradise Island managed to make their move first, and hopefully it does pay off. The way I see it, without the help of Zeke, Eren and the scouts would have had a much harder time. It may have even been impossible. It seems that Willy was already aware of some movement before the grand speech. You could bet that the chances that Eren and some of the scouts would have been caught was going to be super high if it wasn't for Zeke. And even if everything did go fine for them up to Willy's speech, you could at least thank Zeke for removing 2 of his Titan partner buddies. Just imagine if that wasn't the case. Eren would have been up against the WarHammer Titan, Jaws, and the Card Titan. I don't care if you have Mikasa with you, it would have been mission impossible. This is why you're about to see the Donkey Kong and Attack Titan teaming up really soon. Of course, this is all going to play into Zeke's master plan. What is that master plan? That's a theory for next time. But anyway, I want to hear from you. Question of the day. Do you want the Jaeger brothers teaming up? Do you think it's possible? Or are you totally against the idea? Or you might be thinking that Levi would just turn him into barbecue meat again. Definitely let me know what you think, especially if you disagree. By the way, don't forget to give this a colossal thumbs up and subscribe. More Attack on Titan theory videos are coming every week. I do also have an idea for a new video series centered around all the different Titans. This would be something on top of the Attack on Titan theories. Let me know down below if you'd be interested, and I'll see you guys later.